Look at the state of the title. I've put just a load of keywords. Whenever you watch a build video, that is all you're ever going to see. At least one of those words will be in the title of the video. And I'm going to be showing you a build in this video, but I'm going to be showing you the build that I am using, and I'm going to explain why I'm not showing too many other builds at the moment, because I've had a lot of requests to show builds. I've had people ask me for SMG, shotgun, like all over the place, striker builds and everything, and I've tried to put a couple together and I just don't feel comfortable with those builds. There are loads of channels, like I've even done it in the past. I've done like must watch insane rifle build, Breeze's heroic difficulty, because that's pretty much all you can put for a title, things like that for a build. But you go to some channels on YouTube for the Division 2 and they're posting builds like every day, every other day, sometimes twice a week or something. They have so many different builds to showcase, and I can guarantee that they are not using anywhere near that many builds. They probably have one or two that they're comfortable with. Right now I have two that I am using, being my rifle DPS build and my skill build for skill damage with the assault turret and the striker drone. So I will show you the build in this video that I'm using, and I've made one change, but I've tried putting several together. I tried a striker one. It's not for my playstyle. I will show you build videos other than this one and the ones in the past. I will show you some new ones if I can find a build that suits my playstyle and one that I actually enjoy using. Because this rifle build, I've been using it ever since Warlords come out and I haven't changed. I've used a couple of skill builds, but my main primary build has always been this one. So the change I made to it was I took my chest off and I've made it harder for myself whilst giving myself more damage. I've got the sacrifice chest on now, which gives me perfect glass cannon. I get 30% extra damage, but I have to play it a bit smarter. I have to be more patient, because if you look at my armor, 726k, I'm going to get shredded. I'm taking 60% extra damage. But the reason I've put that on is because this is an all-out aggressive DPS build. It focuses on crit chance and crit damage, and I wish I could get a better sacrifice, but that's another thing with making builds. You have to grind for hours and hours to get the required pieces. The striker build I put together was a 3-piece, because if we go and take a look, if we look at something striker here, like I've only got 6.7% weapon damage, and this is one of the pieces I used for the build, so it can be better. But if you look at the 2-piece, 15% weapon handling, that's good. It gives you stability, accuracy. Then you've got 3-piece, which is rate of fire. I don't think you really need to boost your rate of fire when you're playing this game. And then with the 4-piece, you get Striker's Gamble. So weapon hits amplify your total weapon damage by 0.5%, and it stacks up to 50 times. So that's 25% extra damage. You lose a stack each second, and 2 stacks are lost every time you miss. So if you're not hitting a lot of your bullets, which I don't, then Striker's not going to be the best for you to use. If we look at the Striker backpack, the talent increases your total weapon damage gained per stack from 0.5% to 0.65. It's a little bit tough to see that, but it goes up 0.15% each stack. That really isn't a lot. Then you look at your chest. And I mean, people could make these builds work. It's just for me personally, I can't. And then you have Press the Advantage, increases max stacks for Striker's Gamble from 50 to 100. So you're going to get 50% extra weapon damage instead of 25. But that's using 2 talents. You only get 2 talents on a build now. So say you're using, like, well, it's not going to be 50, it'll be 65, sorry, because you'll have the other talent which boosts it from 0.5 to 0.65. So you're going to have 65% extra damage. But you only have, on this, you have 2 attributes. You can change the weapon handling or whatever. So let's just say you go with crit chance and weapon damage. My current chest has got headshot damage, crit chance, crit damage, and weapon damage. So I'm getting more attributes out of that. Plus, I'm actually getting a brand bonus for crit chance, crit damage, and headshot damage as well. So I've got more damage in terms of crits and headshots than what I would get if I was using Striker. Then for my bag, I do need to go find another bag. I've been looking for one for so long, but I just can't seem to find a good Seska bag. But I have Vigilance. It increases my total weapon damage by 25%. Taking damage disables the buff for 4 seconds. But you can see that I have more attributes. So if I was to get the perfect Seska bag and I had crit chance on there and headshot damage as well, then it's going to be a lot better, because with Vigilance and perfect glass cannon, I'm getting 55% extra weapon damage. So I'm losing 10% off striker, but not only that, I'm going to be, if I was using striker, I'd be losing extra stats because of all the attributes. Like this has got 3, and then if we take a look at the gloves, I believe I've got gloves for striker. There we go, I've got weapon damage and headshot damage. But that's what I mean, like, I feel comfortable, extremely comfortable with this build. I've used it ever since Warlords come out, so this is a 3-month build. That's how long I've been using it for. And even though they've nerfed the Baker's Dozen and the M1A, it still hits hard for me. Even though they nerfed Fox's Prayer, they're still incredibly good knees, and they're Overlords, so I get the extra rifle damage. I've tried using ARs, I've tried using LMGs, SMGs, and just none of it. I don't feel comfortable with any of it. If we go down to the shooting range, I'm going to set this enemy to named. Basically 3 million damage, 1.8. So every crit headshot, and they're off them, because if we look at my stats, I've got 56.4% crit chance, 132.8% crit damage, and 115.8 headshot damage. I could possibly, if I spent hours and hours grinding, squeeze a little bit more out of that, but I don't feel that I need to, because a crit headshot is hitting for 3 million. And not only that, me as a player, I'm kind of passive-aggressive, like both at the same time. I sit behind cover, I sit back, but I've got an aggressive DPS build. So with me sitting behind cover is going to reduce the chance of me getting hit, so I'm going to have Vigilance procced a lot more. And I'm getting 3 million headshots when it crits, and it crits a lot. If I fire... There's a crit, there's not, there's a crit, there's a crit. So out of 4 shots, I landed 3 crits. And not only that, if we go and fast travel to all of our favourite mission, I'm going to put it on Heroic. We're going to go into the mission, and look at how easy I kill these enemies. So I'm going to pop up my healing drone. 2 shots, that red bar's dead. That was without a headshot. There's 1 headshot, almost a 1-shot kill. Then I'm being shotgunned. He's 2 shots dead. And I lost my buff for 4 seconds with Vigilance. But I'm going to sit behind cover. I'm going to get healed up. That's literally, on heroic difficulty, that's the first section cleared. And another thing is, because I don't just play DPS, I switch it up every now and then. If we come out here, and we reset the mission, still on heroic, but what I'm going to do is switch up to my skill build. So I've got my skill build equipped, I've got the assault turret and the striker drone. And I'm going to come back in, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to pop my turret. I'm going to put up my drone, and I'm going to target enemies. This is heroic difficulty. Outside of the legendary strongholds, this is the toughest content in the game, obviously besides the raid as well. But just look at how quick they are being absolutely shredded. The enemies just do not stand a chance, and I've still got my Baker's Dozen, so if an enemy gets close, then I can simply just start shooting at them as well. And I don't deal a lot of damage with my rifle, but it's still enough on heroic difficulty to actually take them down and kill the enemies. So there you go, I can sit behind cover, that's area clear. And that's heroic difficulty. And if you look at my build, I don't have anything that a lot of people would use. Like, on my DPS build, once the cooldowns are done, if I switch over to this, I'm running 3-piece Providence for headshot damage, crit chance and damage. I've got Seska for extra crit chance. I've got crit damage on Grupo Sombra. Then I've got the rifle damage for Overlord. So this is perfectly set up for a rifle build. On my skill build, I'm running 3-piece hardwired because I was going to try a skill build with full hardwired or just 4 pieces or something. But whenever you use or cancel a skill, your other one's cooldown is automatically reduced by 30 seconds, while increasing the total damage and repair by 10% for 20 seconds. It can occur once every 20 seconds. The talents, I don't believe, for hardwired on the backpack and chest make it any better or a lot better. But not only that, I don't need my skill cooldowns to be reduced by 30 seconds because they only have a 12.4 second cooldown. So everything is skill haste, skill damage to the best I can get it. And not only that, I've got the 3-piece hardwired. Then I've got a holster with skill haste and damage again. And not only that is Wyvern wear, so I get extra skill damage. Then I've got a Murakami chest, which is giving me skill duration. So the turret and the drone last longer as long as they don't get taken out by the enemies. But I've got Spark, so damaging enemies with a skill increases the total weapon damage by 15%, which is going to help out. There is possibly a better talent, but it's going to help out because whilst I'm damaging enemies with the drone, if there's an enemy coming close, I've got that extra little bit of damage with my weapon on a skill build for the enemies that are getting close, like the shotgunners. Then my backpack is percussive maintenance, the Alp Summit backpack with skill tiers, skill haste, skill damage, you can see it all there. Perfect tech support, so skill kills increase the total skill damage by 25% for 27 seconds. I don't even think it took 27 seconds to take out this whole group in the first area. But those are my 2 builds that I primarily use. There are no others. They are literally the only 2 I have saved, and I switch between them depending on situations. And not only that, I've started doing speedruns whenever I can. If we quickly take a look at the leaderboards, they're all over the place at the moment. Mission, American History Museum, change it to challenging. Look how laggy these leaderboards are. You can see how many frames I'm dropping. But not only that, if I back out and it goes all back to normal, go into group, and there is no leaderboard. The leaderboards are messed up ever since TU10. But when I speedrun, I use a rifle build, and I've tried several other builds. I tried running Lady Death, because when you kill an enemy, you get 20% extra movement speed for 10 seconds, and even with that movement speed, I was a minute slower than my fastest time. My fastest time was set with this rifle build, because this rifle hits so hard. If I quickly switch this up to challenging, and we run in there, this guy standing here, headshot and he's dead. It's so easy if this guy stops running around back and forth between cover. Look at how quick they die with this rifle. And as I showed you in the shooting range, I'm getting 3 million headshots. Look at that, that's a gunner. That's a heavy gunner, even though it's only a red bar, it's a heavy gunner. They've got armor and stuff, and they just get obliterated. My strongest, my biggest recommendation, suggestion is find a build, and if you're comfortable with it, just keep improving that same build and use it over and over and just get better with it, because the more you practice with that build, the more you'll get used to the talents and how it works, and it's just going to be better than going to a YouTube channel and watching 20 different builds and trying to put them all together, because you're going to be all over the place. That's why I stick to this build. People will say, take sharpshooter off, put something else on, or, change your specialization, try a different weapon, and I've tried a lot of stuff, I just can't get used to it. These are literally the builds that I'm happy with, but I will try other builds, although I can't guarantee there will be any actual build videos on the channel anytime soon, unless there's new weapons and stuff that come in that actually look pretty good, because I tried the Resolute MK47, that's a new rifle in the game, and it's just nowhere near as good as my Baker's dozen. Because I've got this build set up for this gun, I was hitting 4 million DPS with one rifle, I hit 6 million with another, and I got 8 million with this. So this is the best build, this is the best weapon for me to use. So this was more of an explanation than an actual build video, but I thought I'd just put all those keywords in the title. So many people share builds, and I can guarantee they do not use them anywhere near as much as they should. Someone will post a build video that they've literally just thrown together because it looks like it's doing well, but as soon as that video's ended, as soon as they finish recording, that build gets scrapped, and they're back to using their one before. It happens in a lot of cases, but you will see there's been slight changes, but I posted a video for this exact DPS build 3 months ago now, and I just haven't changed it. I'm so comfortable with this build, and that's how I got top 30 on this mission. 7 minutes 23, and that was before I gave it more damage with glass cannon, just because it's a build that I'm comfortable with, and I set up, I've been practicing with it, and even my accuracy sucks. I miss a lot of rounds. That's a good thing about the Baker's Dozen that I like. It doesn't have one of them talents that boosts damage, like Optimist I think it is, will boost damage for 10% of your ammo missing out of the magazine. This one is just, if you're behind cover and you miss your shot, it doesn't take it out of the mag. It comes straight back to the mag. So I can just miss as many shots as I need to because of my personal accuracy, and I get all the bullets back. So I've still got 20 rounds whilst I'm sat behind cover to ping into enemies' faces. So if I do manage to find a build that I am happy with, because I will still be throwing some together, but there's not a guarantee that I'll find one that I enjoy. But if I do find one that I enjoy and I'm willing to use for a long time, then I'll show you a video for it. If not, there probably won't be any for a while. And on that note, we're going to leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.